having a wonderful day no matter your location or situation. Today, I'm going to make a video on personal projects while coding. Are honestly so fundamental for my growth as a programmer, just simply for the fact that without personal projects, I wouldn't really understand like the step-by-step process of like building code, because when I do a lot of practice, I normally get caught up in the details, whereas like with personal projects, you're like trying to create something bigger. It's also easy because I'm able to tangibly solve like some issues that I have in real life, or just some issues that someone else might have. I go into the video with my 5 tips to make your personal project worthwhile. Tip number 1. My first tip is really to have like a big picture goal of what you want to do with your code. For example, for me, right now I'm working on a personal project which really helps like a user plan a party with like a checklist, and a checklist, so then like on the day of the event, like it's just easy for them to use because they have a checklist and they know like everything that's going on. By having like this big picture, I'm able to put like all the little elements together, which kind of goes into my step number 2. My step number 2 is also, even when you do have a big picture, it's still to think about like the little tangible things. So kind of like what I said before, what do I need? I need a checklist. So I need to learn how to like build and program a checklist. If you're just like saying like, oh, like because like the big thing, my big goal for my personal project is like to help people throw parties. If you don't like remember like, oh, well, what do I need? I need guests. I need like a checklist. Like it would be very hard for you to like to code. And I also think like this goes into kind of my step number 3, which is like is to allocate the correct amount of time. I think the biggest change in my code mindset was thinking from like weeks to months, because like I said, there's so many like different details that go into a personal project, even if it might seem so minuscule and small. All of those little details are a whole lot. That's why, of course, you see online there's like so many projects being delayed, because like that kind of stuff. Just allocate the correct amount of time. Allocate time in your schedule, which is something that I sometimes forget to do, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have this project done, and then like life gets busy, So something that I keep myself to is I code like 20 minutes a day. Doesn't matter what day it is. Sometimes, honestly, I'm just looking at my computer screen, looking at one syntax error I have, and just like look and I stare, and it's not great, but that's kind of how my brain works. So then I just look and stare. But in other days, I go like over my 20 minutes, but it's just like the consistency that like helps you get your like project done in like a correct amount of time. And also, I just want you to know it's okay to have some setbacks along the way, because I have so many setbacks all the time, and that's fine. Step number 4, actually know what your language could do. For example, I was trying to use Swift for a while. For this project that I'm doing originally, Swift does not have the capabilities that I want, but that's something that you should know and research before you go into your project. So basically, use Google. Google's your best friend. Use Stack Overflow. Use whatever you need to do like to find out what is possible, because I would actually especially recommend Stack Overflow for this, because like you have inputs from other users, so then you're actually going to be able to approach and reach your desired outcome. And number 5, I think this is really the most important. Honestly, just coding, period, not for personal projects. It's just debug as you go. This, especially like for beginner developers, like it's like the big element, because if you don't debug as you go and then you just like run a lot of code, you're gonna have errors. It's okay, we all have errors in our code, but debugging as you go just like helps you it also helps you like know where the errors are. If you want to just take one tip for today, that's the number 1. Those are my 5 tips for personal projects. They can honestly be transferred to any project, and honestly, besides for the one of like knowing what your program language could do, it could be applied to really any field. I hope you found this video helpful and have a wonderful day. Goodbye!